Denver, AFPB, Colorado. For some 5 minutes, white and blue, 17 stripes like the original Colosseum, and 50 for the states. Pour upon the families whose tax dollars wasted. The American flag seems to match their style. Because of 2 Sarah Palins, Air France, these men and women, tax dollars wasted. No such thing as war. War backwards is wrong. Wrong backwards is war. Sergeant Wilco, we're taking care of something. The dropping spectacles, shipping the bodies home. Thank you.
How we doing? Where's the, by the way, where's the string? Where's the string? Okay, keep it going. Just keep it going. You okay? I'm fine, I'm fine. You're not hurting me. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Hey, Pops, how am I doing on time? Lots of time? Okay, great. Series called I Am Number 4. It was just bought up, the rights were just bought up by DreamWorks. So this is for him. I met him a couple years ago where I was working. It's called The Greatest Revolution in Birdland. Once upon a dream ago, I was a jailed canary bird. Never thought much about flying, just laying eggs and strutting in line with all those other feather brains. One day I heard a young
Yeah. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got, I don't know.
Okay.
It must be from the pop. So how do you think the show went today?
Show this morning, tonight, I think was actually interesting. I've never played, it's been a while since I played in front of teenagers. You know, people who aren't over 35.
Yeah.
Or 25 for that matter.
Right.
I think it went really, really well, considering everything. You know, that first piece I did, 75,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's the one I told you about. That's the poem about depression.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking, oh, is that the one he mentioned? You know.
Yeah. That one, in the original lyric that when I used, this is what happens when mortality burns suddenly cold, burns cold, and it was originally, and so I replaced the word depression with mortality because I didn't want to give myself away like that, just because I was afraid at that time.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a difficult thing sometimes to talk about depression on camera, because there's such a a giant octopus stigma attached to it, and so that's why mortality is in the place of depression. I mean, that's why I also call depression DP. DP could stand for double play as well, but
Director of photography.
yeah, exactly. So. But I think it went well tonight, considering everybody was very gentle, and they were very loving and kind, and that was something I probably really appreciate more than anything. And in a performance that they actually listened, and listening is extremely important, both in and out of in and out of costume, and audiences. Audiences are different from time to time. As one would gather, some people get booed, some people walk out because they don't understand it. But I was very surprised that there were as many people as there were tonight, just kind of sitting there and kind of enjoying the vibe. And I was actually worried. I was worried because that always happens. I've never played here, and to me it looks like an old speakeasy to me. Just by the way it looks, it just looks like this old bar, or old speakeasy or something, some redneck white boy bar or something, just by the looks of it. But I'd say overall it was good.
Yeah. How much of your work reflects upon maybe the anxiety that you went through in life? Could you specify on some of that?
Yeah. The work that I do, primarily, like that piece called, that last one that I did called Solo for Throat and Spitstream. That's a lot of sort of see, they're still going. It's the Furbies, folks. Anyway, that's a lot of my anger and the voices that I hear in here kind of get out of me, or they come out of me as I'm performing. I put not necessarily the poetry so much, but the sort of the improvisational pieces come out of me. The one I didn't get to do tonight, which is Three Little Voices, which is about the voices that I heard in my head shortly before depression fell upon me. That's the one that just is a really scary, scary piece, because there's a lot of screaming and a lot of yelling. And in my mind, when I heard those voices, coming straight through, that's the way I was feeling too. It's just that it's very frightening. Some of this to perform on stage, it looks easy. I mean, I make it look easy. I know that, but I can be scared at times. I'll never show you that, but I'm scared at times to wondering if things work, because I always have to gauge the audience. I have to look at the crowd to see how good they are, and how if they're going to really like boo me or say fuck you or give me the finger. I never know with an audience. But to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I put a lot of sort of I try to get my yayas out in terms of my depression and anxiety, and doing it on stage probably is a good way to do it, because a lot of people are stage shy to go on the stage and do this sort of stuff, and I know how difficult it is. I mean, I do know, and I see it every day in other areas of my life, how scared people are to do things, and then they have those pressure points where they're pushed, and they're pushed and they're pushed and they're pushed, and finally they just hit the button and they just fly. And sometimes it doesn't always come out that good, but other times it does. I don't know if that answers your question.
I think it does.
Okay.
Do you feel that one piece that really stood out to me was, I think I mentioned it to you before, was "Bite It, You Scum," and I think that sort of, was that a reflection upon your anger?
That's not mine. That's a cover. That's a G.G. Allen cover.
Right.
I've always liked that one. I've always liked it because...
Can you say which song it is?
Yeah, it's Bite It, You Scum. Actually, a friend of mine got me into G.G. a long time ago, and then I started listening to stuff. And if you listen to it, it's probably it's a good G.G. standard. Of all things, if G.G. Allen could ever have standards for, like the way there are jazz standards and pop standards, this would be a good punk standard. It definitely gets a lot of my, it gets some of my anger out in terms of like trying to get somebody to understand where I'm coming from. And you know, even though sometimes I come across as just kind of being a little, I kind of have this little tiny voice, you know, kind of like this. You want me to, you know, and you're definitely expecting, you want me to kiss your ass. That's the kind of thing you're expecting. And I'm not always like that because I like making my negatives into positives. So the negative voice comes into the positive voice. I also sing it, but when I sing it, that's when I'm able to pull out the anger. I'm not always able to pull out the anger. And so also because of my arthritis, it hurts sometimes to do the anger because it vibrates in here and it kind of fucking hurts, you know.
Yeah.
It's one of the few covers that I like because it kind of, I can identify with it even though if I'm not as punk as I once was, or you know, because I'm getting old and losing my hair, and most punks are, you know, still have their mohawks and they still have their you know, their GBH stickers and their DKs out, CDs, and they still have their War on 45 singles and stuff, and their big leather jackets that mom and dad bought for them, you know. So.
Is there in particular piece of work of yours that most reflects how you maybe feel?
That's a good question. That is a good question. Well, do you mean in terms of my depression and my anxiety? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, well, see, again, that would fall under the category of Three Little Voices, which I can give you a sample of.
Okay.
Three Little Voices kind of goes, it's like the voice kind of coming up against each other, and usually in the background there's always somebody talking. I have somebody talking about religion, or they're just talking about whatever the hell they feel like talking about. I always leave that up to the person who's doing it with me, because I don't want to push them. I just let them talk about whatever. So that one kind of goes something like, let me think here. It goes. You know, and it's that kind of.
I can see how it does.
Yeah, it kind of gets the anger and the frustration of what I have. You know, I fucking wish I never had this, but I've always said that the medications I take enhances the performance. So it's kind of a